Hi guys, welcome to MVB Life Empowerment Session. So today I have our panel from last week, but we also have a new guest that is going to join us. I'm going to let him introduce himself first, and then we'll have our other two guests introduced before we jump into the topic. Can you tell us who you are, please?
Yeah, my name is Andy. As usually, people always call me like that, so I love calling myself Andy. Yes.
Andy. Okay?
I'm George.
George
Dawn.
and Dawn. So I'm just going to repeat for all those that want to comment and ask questions specifically to what each individual says so they can own themselves. George, Andy, Dawn, and myself, Mrs. Boateng Malini. All right, guys. Thank you once again just for taking your time to listen to us. So I'm just going to diving into the conversation. So today I want to talk about confusion. Yeah? Confusion.
Well familiar.
Why are y'all laughing?
Well familiar with this topic.
When you hear confusion, what do you think of?
Confusion stemming from what?
No, like that's what I say. If I say confusion, what comes into your mind? Because I want to hear there are different types of confusion, so we need to help each other.
Not specifying the confusion itself is causing the confusion.
A is causing a confusion.
Uh-oh.
So are you confused?
A little bit.
About what?
Like, what kind of confusion are we supposed to be talking about? Because confusion can come in many ways.
Exactly, it can come in many ways. But I know our sister said something. Oh, it came into mind right away. So what were you thinking when I said confusion?
Life confusion.
Life confusion.
Confusion that people bring into your life. Things like that.
Confusion that people bring into your life. My God.
Yeah.
I just brought one that confused him real quick. And you?
Yeah, like things that you're not expecting it, you wish that it could go like the way you want it to go, and then it messed up alongside, So it's like you're bringing confusion.
Right. So confusion can come in so many different factors. So we're going to tackle like little groups and little sections and see how best we can identify, is this confusion, how do we deal with it, and how do we cope with it so we can be more wholesome when we're around each other, right? So let's start with friendship. What are things that you think can cause confusion among friends, like the four of us? Right now we're laughing and chilling, we ain't got no confusion going on, but what are little things that can cause confusion among friends?
Well, among friends, I think the common thing I would say would be background, or let's say cultural differences.
Okay.
Somebody from their background believes a certain values or understands things in a different way from what maybe you may consider a conventional way of doing things.
Okay.
So that person's approach to doing things will cause you to sort of question him or her, or even sometimes even question yourself, because let's say you've been taught a particular way of doing things and succeeding. Then all of a sudden someone comes along, does things in a different way, and gets probably a better result than you've been doing. It will cause you to maybe pause for a moment and ask yourself, okay, so what it is that I've been taught to have been doing all this while?
Okay.
If there's another way which I had no idea of. So like cultural background, development of an individual's, let's say personal development alone can cause confusion among people. Because let's say if that person does the thing the way he wants to do it, you may disagree with how he's doing it. Doesn't necessarily mean the person is wrong.
Right.
It doesn't mean you are right. So that thing can even cause a strife. So like a person's background alone can cause a confusion when in terms of the friendships and stuff like that.
Okay, that's deep. Minister Andy, we're going to take your take,
Confusion.
Yeah, your input.
Among friendship.
Yeah, among friendship.
Yeah, just as George also said, but I just want to add something to it, especially if two friends are doing things the way they wanted to do.
That's okay. We all
This
do
is
it.
how we do our things. And yes, till another person comes in, comes in, and then trying to let you know, hey, what you guys are doing is wrong. This is how we do stuff. So it brings some kind of confusion between me and her. When the third person,
The two
comes
besties.
in.
Now there's a third party.
The third person comes in and then brings something, chip in something into it, and which is not common to us.
Okay.
So it brings confusion between the two of us.
Right,
the way
right,
we
right.
do our things. So it's some kind of confusion,
Yeah,
that's why.
among
So
friends, yeah.
I think that we all have to be careful who is coming into
The
us,
circle.
who is coming into the circle, and then trying to bring a whole lot of
Yeah.
confusion among us. So I mean, third person coming in is always
Can
very-
create that
yeah,
kind of
can create that
confusion.
kind of-
Okay.
yeah.
Miss Dawn.
What can cause confusion or ways it presents when you have when you have instances where you have miscommunication and misunderstandings?
Right.
So if something is happening and people are perceiving it differently than what it actually is, or they're perceiving it in their own way, and there is confusion about the intentions behind people's behavior or things that they say,
Right.
and then there's lack of communication because no one is talking about it. So they're taking how they feel and they're running with the feeling, they're running with the ideas and the thoughts, and they're just,
Okay.
it's compiling this really negative situation.
Energy.
Yeah. And so when people aren't really sharing how they feel and coming from a place of honesty, like the baseline, it gets so big and it becomes so confusing. No one knows what the issue is anymore.
Right.
So those are one of the ways that
So,
can come.
if I get it correctly, if you sense some kind of negative energy, right? Let's say you're in a circle like this. We all know each other. You're buddy. But if you're sensing some kind of energy that is not positive, you just don't even know what's wrong, but you just notice that, you know what? I don't think this is how it's supposed to be. So you're saying basically you need to be able to go and talk to that person in that group.
Right.
So you can find out what the problem is. So you can find out what the situation is. Because to ignore it won't let it go away. Because people's imaginations, they run wild.
Absolutely.
You know. So the moment you let it fester, before you know it, it's kind of like, okay, we just don't talk no more. Then I go and meet Brother Andy. I'm like, did you see how Dawn looked at me? But that's probably not even what she was thinking in the moment. But because I have a misconception. And I think it goes back to what you were talking about, values. That if we have different values, then that can cause a lot of confusion. So my thing is, how do you reconcile the values? That's my first question before I also go to what he said. How do we reconcile our values? Because we're from different places, right? Like I'm from Zimbabwe, and you're from
Here.
here, and you're from,
And I'm from Ghana.
and you're from
Ghana.
It's different people that are sitting over here, right? So how do we make sure that we can work together as an organization? In this case, we go to the same church as friends. How do we communicate to make sure that our different values don't demean, what the other person means? Because you can easily have a misconception,
Yeah. First, you need to be willing to learn the other person's value. If not learn, at least try to understand it.
Right.
Then, like they were saying, communicate. You also need to be able to compromise. Because if somebody is coming with a different set of values, as long as it doesn't really cause a bad result,
Right.
you should be willing to compromise and allow the person to maybe carry on with whatever the person does in his or her own way.
Okay.
And then I would add, sometimes it just takes patience. Because whatever you don't understand, maybe eventually to unravel itself and becomes something more clearer for you
To get,
and attain. So these are the things I think could help when you are in a confused situation.
Okay. And Brother Andy, you were talking about a third party, right? Which brings me to this. Like when you're friends, right? And you're in a circle, it won't always be just like, for example, I'll use us as an example. It won't always be four people. There'll be somebody else who'll come. So like, let's say Mr. Boateng comes, or Ebenezer Musselman come here, or Michael comes in, right? So because they are not used to how we do things all the time, do you automatically like block them? Maybe their idea that they're throwing in the panel or in your circle, sorority, depending on where you're from, maybe it's something that can actually benefit you, but because you're not so used to it and it's a third party, but you just know this is how we do things. This is our thing.
You don't have to come in.
Yeah.
I think that it depends on the person, how the person is coming in.
Okay.
If the person is coming with a negative energy,
Yeah.
we are always positive, but the person coming in with a negative energy, that is where we can think about, okay, hey, we don't need you over here. All right.
Right.
But if the person comes in with a positive energy, with the kind of concept that we have, or we think that that idea is going to help whatever you are bringing in on the table, or you are bringing on the circle, it's going to kind of, it's something different. Can we add it to what we
What we already have.
we already have, and it's going to be something positive, then that's what we can
Okay.
really do. But if the person is coming in with a negative to just split the four of us,
You're out.
just to, you know, just to split us, just to make sure we don't exist.
Yeah.
That whatever negative that you're bringing, you want it to exist among us. No, we don't want it.
Okay.
You know, so all that I'm saying is that that person coming in must come with a positive idea, come up with a positive
And a good
values,
conscience.
a good conscience. You know.
Don't be targeting people's friendships, trying to get in.
You know,
It's not good.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's, you
No,
know,
but you see
yeah.
people that know, like, you have a good friendship going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Divide.
mhm,
Yeah,
divide.
divide them, you know. So we always stay away from division,
Right.
not to allowing it. But if it's something that's positive going to help us, why not? Come in, bring it in.
Can I ask
Let's do it
something?
together.
What about the people who don't really show their true intent right at the beginning?
That always happens, you know. Because you don't, like, I think it goes back to what you said, like, observe.
Be patient.
Yeah, be patient. Like, try to take time to actually know the person. And I feel like just because somebody really wants to be in your circle as friends, don't just accept anybody that comes just like that. Like, also, we were talking about it, I think, the last time. Like, you also have the right to choose your friends. God says love everyone, but the people that minister to you and speak to you or counsel you, you have to be careful,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
because it can tarnish your values.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. The whole thing is that everybody has values, you know, the values that we're talking about. Somebody coming from Zimbabwe has certain values,
Yeah,
good
my
values.
people.
Somebody coming from where?
From here,
From here,
America.
has values. I have values. He has values. But we decided to come together to bring all these values together, make it work. Positive thinking.
Right.
You know, not negative thinking. So once we put all these values together, it works. Because
Right.
your idea is good, his idea is good, your idea is mine is also good. We put them together. Or probably it could be a negative, but can say, okay, this one is not good.
We could
All
tweak
right.
it, like we could work on it.
You know, so once we
Make it
put them together, we form a big team, and we move forward.
Right.
You know, but anything that is going to bring confusion among us, we know we just have to get rid of it.
Get rid of
let's
it.
get rid of it, and then
Yeah.
let's move it forward.
But you know, nobody likes to have confusion, but we live in a very realistic world, right? Where, Dawn, the way you think is different sometimes from the way I think, right?
Yes.
You have a way you like to do your things. I have a way I like to do my things. So in this case, how would you appreciate somebody coming up to you to tell you or to ask you, let's do things this way? In a way that you would understand, because it's easier said than done. But when it's a group of people, or like you're in church, to say, and you're part of a big group, you serve the ministry and everything, everyone has their own mindset.
Yeah.
You know, but like how you're saying, how you talk to the person. So personally, how would you appreciate somebody talking to you?
Who has a different
Yeah, who has a
mindset?
different mindset than what you used to.
I think that, for example, just kind of piggybacking off what you said,
Yeah.
when you have a group and you have friends, the friends develop a culture.
Yes.
And so anyone who comes in, it's either you're going to match the culture where you find an easier way in, or you're going to oppose the culture.
Right.
And usually the group can suss out where this person is, right? Because that's just how it is. You're either with us or you're
Maybe
other,
eyeing you.
right? So when people come in that have different ideas, sometimes depending on the group culture, it can be where the group's culture is to be open-minded,
Right.
and understanding that other people may have something to offer even though they are others and they're different.
Right.
Or it could be the group's culture to be like, form a barrier and just, you know, right away it's like, no, you're over there, and until we decide that you
can come in.
you're going to stay outside.
You out.
Right? So but on an individual basis, when it's one-on-one, it really depends on the individual. Each
Right.
individual has their own culture. and how they operate, right? So if you yourself are an open-minded person and you're not rigid in your thinking and you're open to people and empathetic and understanding, then you have an easier time almost allowing people in, and then you can determine where you want to be with, or how you want to receive what they're telling you that's different, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not like that, because some people are just kind of very
Blank board.
right,
Yeah.
they have a big barrier up, and if you don't speak their language, and it's not literal language, but if you don't speak
They
their
don't
language,
entertain you.
They don't, right? They don't have time. They say, I don't understand this, and I'm
Yeah.
not interested in trying to understand. So
Right.
it really is on an individual basis.
It's on an individual basis. And like, we were tackling different, like friendship, right? So now I'm going to ask the same question. How do you avoid confusion in a marriage? I know our brother.
Oh la la.
Yes. Because like the person you marry also comes from a different culture.
Yeah.
They have a different way of thinking. So if we're able to look at this, and how we handle people, because the same person maybe like that you marry is the same person probably you meet at work, kind of. So values and cultures are very important.
Yeah.
So, but like my husband always says, the thing you don't avoid, you don't fix now, or what you avoid now, it'll still come back.
Yeah.
So if I cannot find a way to deal with you, and it doesn't work between us as friends, if I meet Andy, the same cycle is going to happen. If I meet George, I will still clash with you.
Yeah.
So let's say in marriage, how do you avoid confusion? Or what brings confusion?
I think that
In
in
marriages.
marriages, it's either
Yeah.
you leave it or you solve it.
Right.
You let it go, and some of them, in terms of the way they behave, some of them, I think that we have to allow God to also deal with it.
You're like, I
mean,
give up.
I always go like, control what you can control and leave the ones that you cannot control. If you try to control it and it's uncontrollable, it's going to bring a lot of confusion.
Fights.
But the ones that you think that you can control it,
Yeah.
go ahead, talk about it, be patient. As my brother said, patience is also helping. I mean, have a constant talk about it,
Right.
deal with it. It takes time for two people coming together
Mm-hmm.
as couples and dealing with stuff. It's going to bring a lot of confusion. Like somebody who the person is more like, oh, I like partying, I like
Yeah.
going with my friends. Now you are married, you're still going out with your friends,
Right.
and your husband doesn't like that, and you still do the same thing. It's going to take some time for you to deal with
To
it.
adjust, yeah.
So constant talking and all that, then I think that you can deal with that. If you don't talk about it, you cannot deal with it. It's still
Right.
going to go on and on and
Over
on. It's
and
going to
over.
bring confusion here and there, especially if, let's say, let me use a toothpaste as an example.
Yes.
Now, my wife would like to, press this side to get the toothpaste, or I want to press the middle to get it. So anytime
You
I
and me
go,
were the same.
Massive confusion.
Call Mr.
anytime
Boateng.
now, anytime I go to the bathroom, the toothpaste is like this. Is like, or maybe she press the middle instead of pushing forward,
For
so
the
at least
bottom.
it will be easy for us. And every day we keep on hammering, don't do it, and she keeps doing it. I mean, the best thing to solve the issue is that buy two of them, give hers to her, and I have mine. So anytime I do it, that it means I'm dealing with it. So you do whatever you want to deal with it. I also have my toothpaste, and it goes on. So there's a way,
But me and my husband, Mr.
Yeah.
Boateng, we're not buying two toothpaste. We have to be
Because it's all-
economical.
You're going to solve this one.
No, you press where you want, I press where I want. We will meet.
So, I mean, that's the
Best
best way to avoid confusion. I mean, leave it
I
aside. Okay,
understand.
this is what we're going to do.
Different cultures.
Exactly.
Toothpaste culture.
Yeah. This is how I sleep.
Yeah.
When I sleep, I sleep with my head up, or I sleep with my I just want to cover myself with it. That's how I sleep. Doesn't mean I should do the same thing.
Right,
Okay, either you sleep on the floor, I sleep on the couch. We solve the issue.
That's
you know,
your prerogative.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So before you
Okay.
can solve, there's a lot of things, As I
Yeah.
said, deal with what you can deal with. The ones that you cannot deal with it, leave it to God. God will
Yeah.
take care of it.
Amen. Hey, Brother George, even if it's like not necessarily
gonna
marriage,
talk about
relationships.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
You're
no,
gonna
just
talk about-
relationships. If
okay.
you're with someone and you have to spend the rest of your life with that person, what will make you pick that person?
Be that person.
Uh-huh. Meet?
I thought you said beat that
No,
person.
what would make you choose that person or want to be
choose.
with that person?
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
you said
because
make me beat that
we are
person, but
starting
I
to.
would just
No,
not.
no beating here.
I think, like, I'm not married, so I don't know
Yes.
much, but the little I know is that communication helps, and then you should be willing to compromise. Because you're not always going to get it your way. Like, as we were saying, he had to buy another one. That's a form of compromising, so that
Yes.
at least one can keep pressing whatever she wants to press, and he can also squeeze from whatever he wants to squeeze
Yeah.
until the other person decides to join you on the new one.
It takes
But
time. Yeah.
eventually, I think compromising and communication is key, because you want to understand why the person act that way, or why the person is doing what the person is doing. And when you have the knowledge of why he or she is doing that, the way you react to it or the way you respond to it also matters.
Right.
Because
Okay.
even if you know and you don't go about it the right way, it could further complicate the issue.
Right.
So knowledge and the wisdom to act upon that knowledge that which you receive with regards to the background or the confusion can also help.
Oh yeah, research your partner. That's what I'm hearing here.
Research.
Hey, do a dissertation, research, turn the pages. Because, I mean, it's easier said than done, right? But human beings are constantly evolving.
Yeah.
We're constantly changing. Like, I know I'm saying research, it sounds like it's a joke. But you have to research your partner. You have to know what they like, what they don't like, where they are from, what their culture is, that kind of thing. Because that's the only way you can understand certain things and not take it personally like they have a vendetta against you or something like that. Yeah, Madame Dawn.
Absolutely.
Please.
I really like when you
Help
were
us.
saying that you have to have patience, and because you mentioned
Patience is
sometimes
key.
what if you don't know
Yeah.
the true intentions of a person? If you don't give time to learn the intentions of the person, you can be blindsided, right?
Yeah.
So you need the patience. You have to take the time before you enter into the marriage. You have to take the time prior to that to really like research this person, like you said, what is their culture?
Yes.
And it's not a culture like how you are from Ghana and you're from Zimbabwe. It is the culture of the human being.
Personality
what do
traits.
they value? Where do their values come from? What is
Yeah.
important to them? What are things that, where did they get their values from? What, you know, and you can't look at things from the surface level because
Yeah.
people present their best selves
Right.
from the beginning. They give you their representative, and after a while, the representative gets tired, and then they start to show you their
True
true
colours.
selves. So you have to give time to see. It's like the representative has a shadow, right? And
Yeah.
the shadow is them. So there is shades of who they are in that representative, and if you just pay attention and take your time, you will
Yeah.
see in
The
no
flags.
time exactly what you're dealing with. And if you feel that you can either deal with it or it's manageable or it's similar or it matches, if those things are okay for you,
Then you
then
just
you
forge
can
ahead.
proceed. And I almost feel, and I could be wrong,
Yeah.
that the amount of confusion that comes within the interactions between the two people will be less, because you're going to have confusion
Yeah.
when you have two people interacting on any level.
Always.
Confusion is
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
from somewhere. It could sometimes it's external,
Yeah.
but the internal stuff
Yeah.
might be mitigated if you do that first.
And I think, like, just to kind of like sum up this episode, is that confusion will come, but you cannot be narrow-minded. Or like what Bishop was teaching today, you cannot just be have a linear thinking.
Yeah.
Like, things are not just one way.
Yeah.
It's not only your way of doing things. Consider the other person. See where they're coming from, like what our brother George said. Understand what their values are. What makes them to be like that? And I'll also kind of throw something out there, like if you're not married as yet or you're looking for a partner and all that stuff. There is this saying, when you see and you meet a person, the way they treat somebody else that is not you, observe.
Absolutely.
The way they treat their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their friend. Observe, because that's the same exact way after some time that they're going to treat you as well.
Yeah.
So love is great. Butterflies are great. But my people, if you see him slapping somebody, it's only a matter of time. Your turn will come.
Yeah, yeah. But I was thinking that he was talking about compromising, you know.
Yeah.
The compromisation shouldn't start from, it shouldn't be like one person compromising.
It has to be
But
both.
it has to be both of you, especially if you are couples.
Yeah.
You know, it has, whether couples or maybe friendship, it should be mutual. It should come from you, and it should come also from me.
Yeah.
But we have different culture and different values. So
Right.
it shouldn't be like always me compromising to what you do.
To what
and
you
then
want,
Learning
yeah.
what you do, and then that is it. You don't also learn from me how I feel and all that. So when it comes to marriage, we all have to do it together, helping each other to build it together. That's the
Married people, listen, no compromise.
yes.
Don't be selfish. It is well.
Yeah.
We will
You don't-
survive. No confusion. Bye, guys. Until we meet again.
Bye.